You think talent makes you strong? No. Talent makes you soft. Talent makes you lazy. The world hands you a gift and you start thinking you're untouchable to fight. Soft men break first. They crumble when life punches them in the mouth. You want to know who doesn't break? The one who's already tasted hell. The one who's starved, bled, clawed, kill with whatever it has. That's you. You don't need a crown to rule. You just need the will to take it. Tear it from the ones who thought it was theirs. You think crowns belong to kings? Wrong. Crowns belong to the hands ruthless enough to win them. I don't respect thrones. I respect strength. If you can't defend it, you don't deserve it. And I'll take it from you without hesitation. But you've been underestimated your whole life. You've been counted out. That's your fuel. That's your edge. While they sleep on their natural gifts, you're awake in the shadows, turning scars into armor, turning failure into fire. Scars are proof you didn't run, proof you faced the storm and survived. Every line across your skin is a weapon, every failure a lesson carved in blood. You want proof? Look at any scarred warrior. Their bodies are maps of battles survived. Those scars aren't weakness, they're warnings. They say, I've been hit harder than you. And the ones who hide from pain never learn. But you wear pain like a uniform. And no one wants to fight a soldier who doesn't flinch. Fearless isn't about being brave. It's about being numb to pain. You stop feeling sorry for yourself. You stop waiting for sympathy. And you start enjoying the fight. That's when the world realizes you're not here to play, you're here to dominate. Don't sit there crying about what you weren't born with. That's weak. Weakness is a choice. You choose it every time you back down. Every time you say, I can't. You want strength. Earn it. Bleed for it. Break your limits until your body doesn't ask permission anymore. It just destroys anything in front of it. That's real power. Power isn't measured by how loud you roar. It's measured by how long you last. Anyone can scream when they land a lucky hit. But real monsters, they keep swinging long after their body should have collapsed. That's what makes them terrifying. You want an example? I've broken men who had every advantage. Lineage, cursed power, flashy techniques. None of it mattered. I've stood across sorcerers with techniques passed down for generations. And you know what I saw? Fear. Choose to outlast, outfight, outblade anyone who steps in your path. Monsters aren't born. They're made. Through pain. Through relentless training. Through nights where no one... So listen carefully. Stop envying the gifted. Stop waiting for an easy path. Stop pretending you're powerless. You've got 2 arms, 2 legs, a heart that hasn't quit yet. That's power. That's all you need. Legends bleed. Kings fall. Heroes break. Remember that. The ones on top are just targets waiting for the right blade. And the blade isn't the one they expect. It's you. The one they ignored. The one they doubted. The one who kept moving in the dark when they were too comfortable to fight. They'll call you reckless. They'll call you insane. But they won't call you weak. Not after you've dragged yourself out of the dirt again and again. Madness beats mediocrity every single time. And when the time comes, you won't just stand with the talented. You'll crush them. Because monsters built from nothing can't be broken. Understand this. You are the storm they never prepared for. They built their lives on comfort. You built yours on struggle. And when struggle meets comfort, struggle wins every damn time. And that's the truth you need to burn into your skull. You don't rise to match the gifted. You rise to surpass them, to make their talent look like a curse. To stand as proof that nothing handed to you will ever compare to what you took with your own blood and rage. That's how you'll smile back and say, try harder. You think the world will clap when you win? It won't. The world doesn't cheer for monsters. It fears them. And that's exactly what you must become. Fear is the purest respect. You don't earn it with charm. You don't earn it with talent. You earn it when people realize standing against you is the same as signing their death sentence. Don't confuse me. This path isn't pretty. It's not noble. It's raw. It's ugly. It's cruel. But power doesn't care about pretty. Power doesn't care about fair. The battlefield doesn't ask if you're ready. It demands blood. And the only question is whether it will be yours or theirs. So stop asking if you're good enough. Stop waiting for permission. Stop thinking someone's gonna hand you destiny on a silver plate. No one is coming. No one is saving you. You either sharpen yourself into a blade, or you stay soft and get cut to pieces. You know why men like me terrify the gifted? Because I didn't play by their rules. They had systems, teachers, structures, safety nets. I had nothing. No mercy, no excuses, no retreat. Every scar you've earned is proof that you're still here. And every scar they don't have will be the reason they break under you. When the fight comes, they'll call you exactly what you are. Unstoppable.
They laugh at you because they don't know what it feels like to be underestimated by everyone in the room. They look down on you like you're weak, fragile, a background character in their story. I know that feeling and I embraced it. Because when the world spits on you, mocks you, writes you off, that's when the monster inside sharpens its claws. You think being the underdog is a curse. No, it's the perfect disguise. Nobody watches the runt until the runt rips their throat out. Being ignored is your camouflage. They'll turn their backs, laugh, dismiss you, and that's when you carve your blade into them. Shadows are the underdog's kingdom, and from the dark you strike loud enough to shake their entire world apart. They expect you to crawl. They expect you to beg. That's why every step forward slices their pride open. Nothing terrifies the comfortable more than the man they mocked still walking, still fighting, still refusing to die in the dirt they buried him in. Every breath you take after they counted you out is a declaration of war. Understand this. Pity is poison. If they pity you, spit it back in their faces. Because the underdog doesn't need their sympathy. He needs their disbelief. Their doubt is your weapon. Let them laugh. Let them smirk. Let them walk past. Because when you finally sink your fangs in, they'll remember that smile as the last mistake they ever made. You want to know why the strong crumble? Because they start believing their own applause. They get comfortable. They soften. They live on past victories. But the underdog, he's sharpening his teeth while they're celebrating. He's starving while they're feasting. And a starving beast fights different. He doesn't fight for glory. He fights to survive. And survival is ruthless. When I stand in front of a giant, I don't see a wall. I see prey that doesn't realize it's already bleeding. You think I care about being outnumbered? Numbers don't matter when every strike I throw is decisive. They can send 100 hands to break me, but all it takes is one of mine to crush their spirit. That's the advantage of the hunted. Desperation turns every movement into a statement. They want mercy. Mercy is for the privileged. The underdog doesn't know mercy. He only knows survival. And survival demands cruelty. Every strike, every move, every word should strip away their illusion of safety. until they realize they're trapped in a cage with something they never understood. You. Heroes, champions, idols. They all bleed the same. The underdog's gift is that he learns to love the blood, learns to taste pain like it's fuel. You think that scares him? No. He's already been broken so many times that pain isn't a weakness anymore. It's a second heartbeat. Comfort makes men soft, but hunger for survival makes monsters unrecognizable. The underdog isn't playing their game. He's rewriting it in blood. They want rules? I'll drag them through the dirt and shatter those rules across their skulls. Because when you're starving, you don't follow law. You create chaos. They train for medals. You train for survival. That's the difference. The fight ends when the whistle blows. Yours ends only when you're the last one breathing. And there's nothing colder than a fighter who doesn't even care about winning. Only about not dying. They'll call you dirty, savage, unworthy. Let them. While they cling to pride, you cling to hunger. And hunger always wins. Because when the body gives out, when the crowd is gone, when the lights cut black, hunger is the only thing still alive in your chest. You've been called weak. Good. You've been called useless. Perfect. Every insult is a blade you swallow, and one day you spit it back sharper. Look at their faces when you rise after every beating. Confusion. Fear. Disbelief. They thought you'd stay down. They thought they buried you. But the underdog doesn't stay buried. He digs out with his bare hands, claws covered in blood, eyes burning with the hunger of something that refuses to die. And every time you rise, you don't just stand up. You come back sharper, heavier, meaner. That's why they fear you. Not because of what you are now, but because of what you'll become tomorrow. They know deep down the underdog they crushed today is the executioner waiting for them tomorrow. And tomorrow always comes. The nightmares they laughed off. Tomorrow they'll face them in flesh. The underdog they mocked grows teeth overnight. And when he arrives, there's no more mocking, no more laughing, only silence before the fall. They'll try to bargain, to reason, to remind you of who you used to be. But the underdog isn't who he was yesterday. He's what they created when they tried to break him. And that creation is colder, sharper, and merciless beyond recognition. And executioners don't give speeches. They don't negotiate. They swing the blade. They end the fight, and they leave nothing standing. That's the reality of the underdog. Every failure he endured was sharpening his axe. And when it falls, it's roll. They tried to erase you from the story, then write yourself back in blood. They tried to silence your voice, then roar until their ears split. The underdog never asks for a seat at the table. He kicks the whole table over and forces them to kneel in the wreckage. You've been treated like an afterthought. Good. You've been tossed aside. Perfect. Because the ones they dismiss the loudest are the ones that erupt the hardest. No spotlight, no applause, no mercy. Just raw evolution in the shadows. And when the light finally hits you, you don't step out as a man. You step out as the beast they can't chain anymore. Don't tell me about their strength. Strength means nothing when the will is diseased with pride. I've seen so-called champions fold when the pressure doubled. But I've never seen a starving dog quit until it tasted flesh. That's the difference. That's what you are meant to be. Quitting doesn't exist for the underdog. It's not in the blood. You can snap my bones, tear my flesh, blind my eyes, but you will never kill my will. That's what terrifies them. They can defeat the body, but they can't kill the obsession. An obsession doesn't need eyes to see or hands to fight. It devours regardless. They think survival is just living. No, survival is domination. Survival means you take their breath, their strength, their crown, and grind it under your heel. Because if I'm forced to crawl through hell, I'll make sure they burn in it alongside me. You either claw forward, or you rot. And I don't rot. I keep moving, even if my bones snap, even if my vision blurs, even if my lungs are drowning in blood. Because nothing is more terrifying than a man who refuses to understand the word stop. You know why they call it impossible? Because they want you to quit before you even try. But the underdog doesn't care about odds. He doesn't need permission, doesn't need probability. He thrives in the chaos where everyone else surrenders. That's where monsters are born. Every scar, every bruise, every broken bone. That's not damage. That's data. That's knowledge carved into flesh. They keep beating you thinking it weakens you, when in truth it forges you. You are becoming the weapon they will never be able to control. They'll try to crush you with trophies, with fame, with strength, with numbers, and none of it matters. Because they can't measure obsession. They can't measure the kind of madness that doesn't fight for applause, but fights because losing means extinction. And extinction isn't an option. Every doubt, every sneer, every loss you carry, it isn't a weight, it's fuel. You don't just fight back, you make them regret ever letting you stand up again. So listen closely. Being the underdog isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about becoming the beast they can't cage, the storm they can't predict, the nightmare that never stops coming. Underdog mentality is the weapon they'll never carry. You're not chasing validation, you're chasing survival. You're not aiming to impress, you're aiming to annihilate. That's the difference. While they're wondering about reputation, you're wondering about who bleeds first. Underdog mentality is colder than victory speeches. It doesn't care about applause or cameras. It only cares about results. Either you walk away breathing, or you don't walk at all. That's the law of the beast. Stripped of polish, stripped of pride. Nothing but raw hunger. You want to know the truth? The underdog isn't here to prove he belongs. He's here to remind the world that belonging is a lie. The jungle doesn't care who's crowned king. It only cares who survives the night. And survival always favors the ruthless. And when the dust settles, when the lights go out, when the noise fades, who's left standing? Not the comfortable, not the pampered. It's the one who clawed through hate, through ridicule, through chains. The one they all dismissed. The underdog. The final beast. You think underdogs just rise? No. We drag everyone who doubted us into the mud. Face first, until they choke on their arrogance. We make examples out of the proud. We carve warnings into their bodies. And when they whisper your name after, it won't be respect. It'll be fear. And that's the beauty of it. By the time the underdog finally shows his teeth, the fight is already decided. Because the beast has been building, bleeding, hungering in silence for years. And when that silence breaks, when that roar rips through their world, nothing survives it. Nothing. That roar isn't just sound. It's vengeance sharpened into a weapon. It's every insult, every scar, every betrayal erupting at once. And when it hits, it doesn't echo. It erases. Entire legacies collapse under the scream of the underdog turned monster. They'll call it unfair. They'll call it unnatural. But nothing about survival was ever fair. Nothing about evolution was ever gentle. The underdog evolves by devouring those above him. And when he rises, it's always through a trail of corpses. And by the time the dust clears, there will be no debate. No excuses, no doubts. Only the sight of the beast they tried to bury. Now standing at the top of their ruins. That's not victory. That's reclamation. That's the final definition of the underdog mentality. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're finished. Because by the time they realize the truth, by the time they see the monster that grew in the shadows, it will already be too late. And you will be standing over them. The last one left. The final beast.
You're weak. I can see it in your eyes. Don't deny it. Your body already told me. Your shoulders slump when things get hard. Your fists loosen when pain digs deep. And you convince yourself that quitting is reasonable. Pathetic. Do you know what separates a warrior from a pretender? It's not talent, not destiny, not even strength. It's the will to suffer and keep going when every fiber of your body begs you to collapse. Strength has nothing to do with ease. It is forged in the flames of difficulty. Every drop of sweat is currency. Every bruise is an investment, and every failure is interest paid on greatness. That's the economy of warriors. You think pain is your enemy? Wrong. Pain is the only ally that never lies. Comfort whispers sweet nothings until you rot where you stand. But pain sharpens you, carves you into something real. The weak hide from it. The strong embrace it. You call yourself disciplined? Discipline isn't skipping the party to study. Discipline is staring at exhaustion and breaking it until it bows to you. Discipline is when the body collapses, but the will drags it back up. Mental toughness means refusing to be pampered by the soft lies the world feeds you. Lies like, take it easy. You've done enough. Enough? Enough is for insects. Warriors know there is no finish line. I trained under gravity that crushed bones. Every second was suffocation. Every movement was a scream in my muscles. And yet, I demanded more. Why? Because the moment you run from the weight, you prove you are not worthy to carry it. You think gravity training was about strength? No. It was about bending under pressure until either my bones snapped or my spirit rose. And every time, my spirit won. Can you even comprehend that level of will? You want easy victories? Then prepare for meaningless victories. The harder the climb, the greater the throne. I would rather bleed climbing to the summit than sit comfortably in the dirt with cowards like you. Pressure reveals truth. Under pressure, cowards beg for release. Under pressure, warriors reveal their essence. And I, the prince, proved that my essence was unbreakable. What will pressure say about you? You want an example? Fine. I've been beaten, broken, humiliated by Kakarot, by enemies who shouldn't have even touched the Prince of Saiyans. My pride was dragged through the mud, and yet, every time I bled, every time I thought I'd reached my limit, I pushed further, because mental toughness isn't a slogan. It's the steel that keeps your spirit standing when the world stomps on your chest. You think you have that? No. You crumble when your comfort is taken away. Don't look at me with excuses. They disgust me. Excuses are chains you wrap around yourself. Every time you say I can't, you tighten the lock. And then you wonder why you can't breathe. Break them. Shatter them. Or stay chained while warriors like me march past you to glory. Do you want proof? Look at Kakarot. That clown surpasses his limits because his mind refuses to accept barriers. Kakarot treats limits like suggestions. That's why he surpasses them. You treat them like prison walls. And the tragedy is, you built those walls yourself. The difference between you and us, when faced with the impossible, you lower your aim. We raise ours. When the mountain towers, you bow. We climb. That's why you remain ordinary, and we become gods. Push until your bones grind into dust if you have to. Because until you do, you'll never stand eye to eye with me, let alone him. You sit there telling yourself you're trying. Trying is what cowards say when they fail. Warriors do. Warriors rise. When I trained, I didn't stop when I was tired. I stopped when my body could no longer move. And then, when everyone thought it was over, I pushed again. I once promised myself I would surpass every limit. That promise burned hotter than any flame, carried me through every abyss. What promises have you broken? How many times have you betrayed yourself? And don't mistake pride for arrogance. Pride is earned. Arrogance is hollow. Pride is what makes you spit blood and still say, I will not yield. Arrogance. That's what cowards use to mask their weakness. Which one are you? Don't confuse your fragile ego with true pride. True pride survives humiliation, endures loss, and transforms it into fire. Your ego, one insult and you crumble. That is weakness dressed as confidence. When I stand tall, it isn't because life was kind. It's because I refused to kneel when it wasn't. That is pride. That is Saiyan blood. That is the difference between me and you. When I was humiliated, when Kakarot crushed me, I could have broken, but I didn't. I sharpened my rage into resolve, my pain into discipline. That is why I still rise. That is why no defeat defines me. Can you say the same when life knocks you flat? Or will you stay down like the worm you are? That's why I awaken stronger every time. That's why even after death itself, I stand. Can you say the same? Or will you hide behind your fragile little ego? Blaming life, blaming others, never facing your own weakness. Don't you dare tell me life is unfair. Life owes you nothing. The battlefield doesn't wait for your tears. The universe doesn't pause because you're tired. If you're crushed, it's because you chose weakness over will. You say you want respect, then earn it. Respect isn't given for existing. It's carved into the world by those who refuse to be ignored. If your presence leaves no mark, then you've lived like a ghost. When you break your word to yourself, you become your own enemy. And the truth is, you can't fight an enemy that lives inside your head. That's why you keep losing. Not to others, to yourself. Your ego is glass. It shatters the moment someone tells you the truth. You puff your chest. You pretend you're strong. But when life spits on you, you fold. I see it. Everyone sees it. That's why you're stuck where you are. A true warrior's ego is forged in fire. Insults, they're fuel. Failure, it's a lesson. Pressure, that's where diamonds are born. If your pride can't handle heat, then it isn't pride, it's paper. And paper burns. Every scar I carry is proof of battles where I refuse to break. Every scar is a lesson, carved into my body by pain itself. Where are your scars? Or have you lived so softly that life hasn't even bothered to test you? If you want mental toughness, then stop searching for comfort. Stop begging for sympathy. Seek the battlefield, whatever yours may be, and bleed for it. Only then will you earn the right to speak of strength in my presence. Listen to me and let it burn into your skull. Mental toughness means spitting in the face of doubt, laughing when pain screams at you, and dragging yourself forward even when no one believes in you. It means taking the punch, tasting your own blood and say, "Is that all you've got? You want to awaken? Then stop crying about your struggle and prove yourself in it." When I was broken, nobody believed in me. Not my enemies, not even myself at times. But I clawed back from that pit, because pride doesn't vanish. It roars. What will you do when the world forgets your name? Will you rot in silence, or roar back louder? You want an awakening? Then kill your comfort. Slaughter your excuses, and bury your self-pity. Awaken the side of you that terrifies you, the side that doesn't quit. Until then, you're just playing warrior. Do you know why warriors laugh at pain? Because pain is proof we're alive. Proof that we're pushing where others stop. The sting of sweat in your eyes, the taste of iron in your mouth. That's not defeat. That's the sound of evolution. So I challenge you now. Look in the mirror. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Ask yourself if that reflection is someone worthy of respect. If the answer is no, then get to work until it changes. If the answer is yes, then work harder. Because I promise you this, the Prince of all Saiyans never accepts enough, and neither should you. Enough is surrender in disguise. Enough is the final breath of ambition. The moment you say enough, you've killed the warrior within. That's why I spit on the word. I will keep pushing until my body turns to dust, until the stars themselves fade. Because that is the Saiyan way. That is mental toughness, unyielding, unrelenting, unforgiving. And if you can't match that, then stay in the shadows. Because the battlefield has no mercy for the weak. You don't become unbreakable by demanding mercy. You become unbreakable by enduring without it. Mark my words weakly. Your softness will be your grave unless you tear it out of yourself. Now, you want power? You want respect? Then shut your mouth, clench your fists, and fight until your mind becomes sharper than your excuses. That is mental toughness. That is the only path to evolution. And if you can't take that, step aside. The Prince of all Saiyans doesn't have time to waste on the weak. Shadows. Yes, that's where the weak belong. Hiding, whispering excuses, clinging to their fragile illusions of effort. I've seen countless like you. Warriors in their words, cowards in their actions. They speak of greatness, yet crumble at the first sign of resistance. That is not greatness. That is rot. You think the universe will wait for you to gather courage? Fool. The universe devours hesitation. The battlefield spits out the unprepared, crushes the uncommitted, and feeds on the fragile. Out here, only the relentless survive. Out here, only those with minds sharper than their pain carve their names into eternity. And don't you dare think you'll be remembered for trying. Trying is the language of the forgotten. Statues are not built for those who attempted. The world forgets them as quickly as they fell. You want immortality? Then endure past the point where your body begs for mercy. Fight until even death itself acknowledges your will. Understand this. Mental toughness is not a skill, not a tactic, not a fleeting state of mind. It is war. It is waking up every day, ready to spit in the face of your own weakness. It is shackling your comfort, strangling your fear, and beating your doubt into silence. Only then will you know what it means to rise as a warrior. Look at me. Every scar on my body is a declaration. I will not break. Every humiliation I endured became a blade to sharpen my pride. I was crushed. I was surpassed. I was left in the dirt. But I clawed my way back. Stronger, colder, harder. That is why I stand. That is why my name roars louder than any who dared to look down on me. Now you must choose. Will you remain a whisper in the shadows, A ghost no one remembers, buried under excuses and weakness? Or will you set yourself ablaze, burn every limit, and rise until even your enemies tremble at the sound of your name? There is no middle ground. There is no mercy. You stand, or you fall. You evolve, or you vanish. I am Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans. The embodiment of pride forged in fire, unshaken by defeat, untouchable in will. If you want to stand among warriors, then abandon your frailty now, and forge yourself in suffering. If you cannot, then accept your place beneath my feet, because this battlefield belongs to me, and only the Unbreakable.
All right, listen up. You think you're down? You think you're out? You think this is the end? Because let me tell you something. Something I learned the hard way. Something that's etched into my very soul. This is not the end. This is just the beginning of your fight. Look at me! You see this? This isn't some kind of joke. This is a body that's been beaten, bruised, and broken more times than I can count. This is a body that was told it was useless, that it would never amount to anything. They said I had no magic, no power, nothing to offer. And for a long time, maybe I believed them. Maybe I felt that sting of doubt, that cold whisper of despair telling me to just give up, to accept my fate. But you know what? That's the trick, isn't it? That's the lie they want you to believe. They want you to stay down. They want you to be afraid. They want you to think that because you don't have the same gifts as others, because your path is harder, because the odds are stacked against you, that you're destined to lose. Think about it. Our brains, they're amazing things, right? They're wired for survival. When we face something scary, something overwhelming, that little voice in our head, that amygdala, it screams, "Danger! Run! Hide!" It's a survival instinct, and it's powerful. It's designed to keep us safe from immediate threats. But what happens when the threat isn't a charging beast or a falling rock? What happens when the threat is your own doubt, your own fear, the crushing weight of expectation, or the sheer unfairness of it all? That instinct to flee, to freeze, it can become a prison. It can convince you that the only logical thing to do is to surrender. It tells you that fighting back is pointless, that it will only lead to more pain, more disappointment. It's a psychological defense mechanism, trying to protect you from the perceived greater hurt of failure. But that's where the real danger lies. Because by not fighting, by not even trying, you guarantee that you will fail. You become a victim of your own fear, a prisoner of your own mind. I've been there. Oh, believe me, I've been there. Standing in front of someone with overwhelming power, with years of training, with a lifetime of advantage, and feeling that absolute dread. The kind of dread that makes your knees weak and your stomach churn. The kind of dread that screams, "You can't win this. It's impossible." And in those moments, it's so easy to just stop, to just let the blows fall, to accept the inevitable. But then, something clicks. It's like a spark ignites in the darkness. It's that little ember of defiance, that stubborn refusal to be broken. It's the memory of why you started in the first place. For me, it was always about becoming the Wizard King. A ridiculous dream for someone with no magic, right? The ultimate underdog story. But that dream, that impossible goal, it became my fuel. It became the reason I pushed past the pain, past the doubt, past the taunts. And that's the psychological trick you need to understand. Our minds are incredibly adaptable. They can be trained, just like a muscle. Your mental fortitude can be strengthened, Every time you choose to stand up when you want to fall. Every time you choose to speak up when you want to be silent. Every time you choose to push forward when every fiber of your being screams to retreat. You are rewiring your brain. You are building resilience. You are teaching yourself that you are stronger than you think. Think about neuroplasticity. It's this amazing concept that our brains aren't fixed. They can change. They can grow. They can form new connections. Every experience, every choice shapes our neural pathways. So if you keep reinforcing the pathways of fear and surrender, that's what your brain will default to. But if you actively choose to forge new pathways of courage and determination, you can literally change your mind. You can change your reality. It's not about being fearless. Nobody is truly fearless. It's about acting despite your fear. It's about acknowledging the fear, feeling it, and then saying, okay, I feel you, but you're not in charge. I am. It's about understanding that the fear of failure is often worse than the failure itself. Because failure, when you learn from it, when you get back up, it's just a stepping stone. It's a lesson. It's a chance to get stronger. You see, the world is full of people who will tell you what you can't do. They'll point out your weaknesses. They'll highlight your limitations. They'll try to convince you that you're not good enough. And sometimes, those people are right. Sometimes, you aren't good enough. Not yet. But that's not a reason to stop. That's a reason to work. That's a reason to train. That's a reason to fight to become better. My whole life, I've been underestimated. I've been looked down upon. I've been dismissed. And you know what? It hurt. It was frustrating. But it also lit a fire inside me. It made me want to prove them wrong. It made me want to show them that even without magic, even with nothing, I could stand tall. I could make a difference. I could achieve the impossible. And that's the core of it, isn't it? The desire to achieve. The drive to overcome. It's not about having a specific talent. It's about having the will to persevere. It's about the grit. The sheer bloody-mindedness to keep going when everyone else has given up. When you're facing something that feels insurmountable, remember this. Every great accomplishment, every breakthrough, every moment of triumph started with someone deciding to fight back. It started with someone refusing to accept the status quo. It started with someone saying, no. This is not how it ends for me. Think about the people who have inspired you. Were they the ones who always had it easy? Or were they the ones who faced incredible adversity and still found a way to shine? They didn't possess some magical immunity to hardship. They possessed the strength of spirit to rise above it. They understood that setbacks are not failures. They are opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to grow, to adapt, and to come back even stronger. It's like when you're training. You push yourself to the limit. You feel that burn, that exhaustion. Your muscles scream. Your mind tells you to stop, but you don't. You push for one more rep. You hold that stretch for one more second. And it's in that moment of pushing past your perceived limit that you actually get stronger. You break down those muscle fibers, and then they rebuild, stronger than before. Your mind works the same way. You face a challenge, you feel the pressure, you feel the urge to quit. But if you push through that urge, if you find a way to keep moving forward, even if it's just a tiny step, you are building that mental muscle. You are becoming more resilient. You are becoming more capable. And that's the beautiful irony. The things that try to break us, the struggles we face, the pain we endure, they have the potential to make us stronger than we ever imagined. It's not about avoiding the fight. It's about embracing it. It's about learning to dance in the storm, to find your footing on shaky ground, to use the wind that tries to push you back to propel you forward. So the next time you feel that wave of doubt crashing over you, the next time you feel like you're drowning, remember my words. Remember that you have a choice. You can let the fear consume you, or you can use it as a springboard. You can let the setbacks define you, or you can use them as lessons. You can accept defeat, or you can fight back with everything you have. It's not about the size of your magic. It's about the size of your heart. It's not about how much power you were born with. It's about how much power you can create through sheer determination. It's about the unwavering belief in yourself, even when no one else believes in you. It's about looking the impossible in the eye and saying, "You think you can stop me? You think you can break me? You are wrong." Because when you decide to fight back, when you tap into that primal instinct to survive and to thrive, something amazing happens. You unlock a power that's deeper than any magic. It's the power of the human spirit. It's the power of resilience. It's the power of never giving up. So stand up, even if you're trembling. Speak up, even if your voice shakes. Take that first step, even if it's a small one. Because every single time you choose to fight back, you are not just fighting for yourself. You are inspiring others. You are showing them that it's possible. You are proving that the impossible is just a challenge waiting to be overcome. This is your fight. This is your moment. Don't let anyone, especially yourself, tell you that you can't win. Dig deep. Find that spark. And unleash the warrior within. Go out there and fight back. Show them what you're made of. Show them the strength that lies dormant within you, waiting for the moment to ignite. Now is that moment. Go!